It looks like we are live. Welcome everybody to Retro Games Racing, race number 27. Yeah, we've been doing this for well, more than 27 months because we had a couple months off there in the middle, but it's been a long time now. And this month, so last month we ran a Bucky O'Hare and KLM 1187 won the race and chose Adventure Island 2, Double Dragon 2, and I want to say Ninja Gaiden 2. I don't know why I can't remember that. And the votes came in, Adventure Island 2 won. And I think a lot of people assumed that Adventure Island 2 might be the easiest of the three games. However, once people started playing it, they realized just how impossible this game is. It's a super tough game. And I think TMR has the record, the Mexican runner. And if you see him play it, it looks incredibly easy. Like, because he, outside of the fact that he is like almost having a heart attack while playing it sometimes. Because it's very nerve-wracking and it's constant, like super fast-paced movement. You need to know exactly what's coming on the screen and make really tight jumps and maneuvers to be able to not die. It's a really fun game, but we'll see how our runners do today. I imagine that this is going to be one of the tougher games that we've played. Like it reminds me of like Metroid, or actually no, it reminds me of when we did the Metroid race. That like it was a very, very tough race. But we've got three brave runners today with KLM, Biddy Kong, and BBL that are going to be doing their best to get through this today. And I know KLM and Biddy Kong have been practicing quite a bit. I'm not sure how much BBL has practiced, but we will see. So we're just going to wait until the countdown for the race begins, but I think we're just about ready on our side. And we are getting ready. The countdown is going to begin here in SRL in the race room, so we will be started momentarily. And yeah, stopping with that Metroid race. It was maybe like, I want to say that was like our third or fourth or fifth race, maybe. I guess I can scroll down one sec. Never mind, it was the second race that we ever did. But yeah, that one was really, really, really difficult. But it was really fun. I love Metroid, so it was fun for me. There are just going to be 3 runners total, NES ad. So we've got KLM on the top left, Biddy Kong on the top right, and then BLP on the bottom left. And so these guys are definitely normal kind of returning runners. None of these guys are on their first race or anything with RGR. Biddy Kong is not quite resetting. I'm not sure what is taking the delay, but I think we are going to be starting the countdown. Hopefully Biddy Kong will reset. Yeah, there he goes. So we will be starting any second. So for those of you who don't know about the Adventure Island games, you control Master Higgins. And in this game, his honey, Tina, was kidnapped by an evil witch doctor. And as you can see on KLM's screen, he's grabbing a skateboard right here. If he gets hit once, he'll lose the skateboard. If you don't have a skateboard or a dinosaur that you will see KLM pick up right now, you will die instantly if you get hit. Otherwise, you'll lose the power-up or like the skateboard or the dinosaur. and then it'll be a one-hit kill. At the end of each level, you see it says choose an egg. And it's like, well, big deal. Like some have different varying levels of points, but no, it's actually much, much more important than that. The points that you, or the eggs that you pick will determine what level you play next. So if you grab a different egg, you'll go to a different level. And so it's very critical that you learn which eggs go to which levels. And so this becomes like more of like a memorization part to the game as well, where it's not only a very difficult game, you also need to be able to pick which levels you want. So you can see we've already had a deviation too. Biddy Kong is on a different level than KLM and BBL. And it is raining, so I'm going to really quickly shut my window. I'll be right back. Okay, we are back. I had opened my window because sometimes my room, my voice echoes, but it started pouring rain outside, so that is not an option anymore. So we do see a couple different dinosaurs here. We have KLM with the blue Camptosaurus, which you get by getting the... You'll see when they open up, like, they have like cards that they collect, and each one corresponds to a different dinosaur. And so the heart is the blue dinosaur. Biddy Kong had the red Camptosaurus, which can breathe fire. And on some of these stages where there's lava, you can run through the lava and not be hurt, where it's the only one that can accomplish that. I don't even know if it's lava. It's like poison water or something. But we should see KLM coming up to that really soon. We have... There's a pterodactyl, or I think it's a pteranodon, something that you can fly around with. And then there is Lapras, which is obviously not its real name, but that is like, it looks exactly like the Pokemon Lapras. And you can swim with that one. That's the only one of the four that will swim. But yeah, you can see KLM is just going into the water here. And if he was on any other dinosaur, he would lose the dinosaur immediately. Wouldn't be able to do that. And I didn't talk too much to Biddy Kong or BBL about their strategies. I know that KLM is going to play a lot of the levels in the first world because he wants to collect as many hammers, which is like a ranged weapon that Higgins has, as well as dinosaurs for some of the harder stages later on. And KLM is also going to be coming up in a couple seconds on this first boss, which is essentially just like a big wall on the right side. And he's going to want to just pelt it with as many attacks as he can while avoiding these green things that come at it. And they come pretty slow. So you don't need to worry too much. You got a pretty good time on that boss. And so he'll be moving on to the next world. And there are 8 worlds. And like I said, you don't need to play all of the levels. Because you can pick different eggs to warp around to various levels, play the ones you want, the ones you feel comfortable with. It's definitely a nice kind of, from that aspect, it's a nice race game, because if there's some stages you want to avoid at all costs, sometimes you can do that by routing around to different stages. It just depends on kind of what you're comfortable with and what the different options are. Biddy Kong should be getting to that first boss right now as well. We'll see how he does with it. Luckily, you do get a hammer right at the beginning there. Oh, the other thing to mention about a lot of the bosses, I don't think this first one behaves this way, but if you have a dinosaur out on most of the bosses, they will fire at the dinosaur first. And so as long as you can position the dinosaur in a good spot, you can make sure that Higgins can just keep pelting them with the hammers. And here we have Lapras, I think for the first time, on KLM's screen. BBL is chunking through that first world still. Looks like he's doing pretty decently. In the underwater stages, you'll sometimes see that there are bubbles. If you have the Lapras, you can just swim right through it and it'll go away, no problem. If you end up, what do I want to say? If you don't have Lapras and you go through the bubbles, Higgins will get stuck in it for a little while. You lose some time. One other thing that I don't think I've mentioned yet is you do have like an energy or a hunger meter. And so if you look on like pretty much any of their screens while they're in the levels, you'll see some tick marks below their score. That's essentially their energy meter. And before it gets to be empty, they need to be picking up more food. If it gets to be empty, they will not be happy. So far, so good, though. I haven't seen many deaths. I think I might have seen one, but I mean, it seems like everyone's doing okay so far. It doesn't start out the worst, but it gets a lot tougher as you go. Yeah, Strizer. Well, I mean, if hangry means dead, then yes, you are completely correct. But yeah, I said you won't be happy, but yeah, you die if the energy meter runs out. And they do one thing that makes the speed run a little more dangerous, you do want the hunger meter to be as low as possible when you finish stages because it takes some time to count down. I don't think people are going to be caring too terribly much about that here. They just want to make sure that they're not dying. They don't need to save that extra 1 second when a death is very costly. But I think we have KLM coming. KLM is pretty close to the next boss. And yes, swimming is incredibly slow if you lose Lapras. So you always want to be trying to keep Lapras. And that is actually, that was unfortunate. KLM didn't have a dinosaur, so he couldn't blow up the bubbles. The dinosaur wasn't there, so the crab didn't shoot at the dinosaur first. They shot at Higgins, so Higgins got trapped in a bubble, and then was shot by the crab boss. Yeah, so I was really hoping to not necessarily have to discuss this, but in this game, if you die on a boss, it's like dying on one of the airships in Mario 3, where the airship will fly off to a different level. Well, the boss, in this case, the crab, has moved to a different level. So now KLM has to finish this other level and has to essentially traverse all the way over to where the boss is now, and then beat that level and beat the boss again. Then he can move on. So losing or dying on bosses is very, very bad in this game. But we'll see if KLM can recover. The other thing that is pretty frustrating about this game too sometimes is you can snowball deaths really easily. Once you kind of get out of your groove, you lose a couple of your dinosaurs. Because a lot of times they're saving their dinosaurs for later on when they really, really need them. And so they don't want to use dinosaurs on events like this that's happened for KLM, because they're all allotted for later on in the game. And so he's trying to just get his way through there, and he's just walking through now. He's like, you know what, I've had enough of this swimming stuff. There's a floor. I'm going to walk through this. That was unfortunate for BBL. He got an egg, but the card landed right in fire, and so he didn't feel comfortable trying to go for it. And so this should be, KLM should be at the boss after this stage, and Biddy Kong is at the boss, showing how to do the Lapras strat, where you just try to keep Lapras below Higgins, and so the first shot you see always goes down towards Lapras. And so this way, it's just a little safer. You just have to dodge 1 out of every 2 shots. KLM is back, but he does still have no Lapras, or he will be back very soon. But he still doesn't have Lapras, and so he will be in a tough spot. It'll be a much tougher fight for him than it was for Biddy Kong. That's for. Yeah, exactly, Nia said. So you need to know exactly, on every level, you need to know exactly which eggs go to which levels, or else you could just be in a really unfortunate spot. But it looks like KLM gets through this boss fight fine. So Biddy Kong is just a little bit ahead. It does look like, so I'm not sure on the routing, but it looks like BBL may have been skipping a lot more levels than Biddy and KLM. I'm not entirely certain about that. Because it looks like he's on Ice Island already, which is the 4th island. Oh, it's because there's a skip there. Yeah. So Biddy Kong just went through a skip to go to World 4, and that's what KLM is going through right now too. I need to turn on stream mode because my Discord just made a sound. Okay, that shouldn't happen again. But yeah, so BBL is actually slightly in the lead. It looks like he's like 1 level ahead of KLM and Biddy Kong, which is pretty exciting considering I think BBL did not practice nearly as much. I could be wrong. He could have been sneakily practicing quite a bit, but or he just didn't play through as many safeties, because I know that KLM was wanting to grab a bunch of dinosaurs in World 1. Maybe BBL didn't do that either. But yeah, BBL is keeping up really nicely, which is good to see. All 3 of them are within about a stage of each other. And to kind of show you exactly just how worried we are about this race, if we actually this is the first time we've really had a contingency. If for some reason no one wins, no one actually beats the game, they will start over and race to the end of World 4, which is the world that they're on now. And so that is always a possibility. I'm thinking at least 1, if not 2 or 3 of our runners will get through the game. I just think that it definitely shows just how worried the runners were, that they were like, you know, maybe we should talk about what we need to do if none of us beats the game. And I haven't mentioned the kind of inventory screen yet. You'll notice at the start of each level, they'll be able to pick a dinosaur as well as a hammer if they want. And so that's kind of what I was talking about with saying that they were going to try to max out their items and dinosaurs earlier on to save them for later hard levels. And so I'll try to give you guys an update there on a comparison between the runners to see how their inventories are stacked right now. It looks like Biddy Kong might have a couple more dinosaurs, but I think KLM and Biddy Kong both look pretty okay with their inventories, I think. You see KLM got a 1-up there. 1-ups are actually pretty prevalent with points. They're points based. So he has 3301. So he had 7 dinosaurs and 7 hammers, and 7, 8, 9, and 9, I think, for Biddy. So Biddy's got a couple more dinosaurs and a couple more hammers than KLM right now. What is BBL sitting at? Oh, BBL has 2 dinosaurs. So I think that's one reason why BBL has been keeping up, is that he has foregone kind of race safety and is just saying, hey, let's play this game, which I can appreciate that too. And so these guys are actually going through these levels pretty quickly when they're on the dinosaurs. It's really, like, I can't stress just how difficult this game is, because like you have maybe like a half a second max reaction time to be able to kind of assess the situation as things come at you and know what you need to do. And there are certain choices that you might not know, where you're like, oh, there's something here, I'll jump. But then by the time you land, you're landing on something else that's on screen. So you really need to almost memorize all of these levels, which just, this game, it's really tough with how many levels you need to play, with how tight some of the timing windows are. Like, our runners are doing really well so far. So one other thing actually, KLM's at a boss, so we'll talk about this boss first. We have the octopus, where KLM is trying to get up on that top middle. Yep. So Biddy's fighting it too. Cool. So we can see both of these guys fight it, and they're using the blue dinosaur at the bottom so that he kind of gets distracted. The boss gets distracted and fires at him a lot. So you can just sit there with Higgins and pelt them from above. That's going to be the theme of almost all the rest of these bosses. Both of them get through that pretty quickly. There is a super fast kill you can do by getting that, getting the blue dino on the platform just to like the below and to the right of the one that Higgins was on. You can hit him with both Higgins and the dinosaur, and so you can actually kill the octopus before it even moves. But that's very, very risky. Ooh, and it does look like KLM takes a death there on those moving platforms. So he's going to have to use another one of his dinosaurs. Yeah, Vic, I mean, that's the intended strat for our runners. They want to just, essentially, it's this like dinosaur that's just distracting the boss. Ooh, Biddy gets to the very end of the level and runs out of energy. He could see the end of the screen. Oh, that one really hurts, because he had lost his dinosaur already and was just trying to make it to the end. So KLM definitely jumps out to a lead here. One item I did not talk about, I think it was in World 3. So I assume that KLM and Biddy got it. I'm not sure if BBL is going for it, but there's a Hudson B in one of the levels that usually when you continue, as well, that was bad timing. BBL just game over and continued. You can see that he has 0 dinosaurs and 0 hammers left. If he had picked up the Hudson B on your first continue, I think you hold left. I can't remember what the button press is, but if you hold the right direction as you continue, you will keep all of your dinosaurs and hammers. And so that is actually quite critical if you think you're going to continue. I believe the game has unlimited continues. However, it makes it very, very difficult to keep playing if you lose all of your dinos and your hammers, because you need a hammer at the end of the game, and it's just it may, obviously the dinos make it way easier in this game. So I assume if we see people continue more than once, they may or may not be finishing. We did also see KLM skip the rest of World 5, I believe. So he should be on to World 6 now. Like I said, there are 8 worlds, so we're kind of getting to that like little over halfway point. I want to say, I think KLM's PB is like right around 36 minutes. I'm not sure what Biddy's PB is, and I know BBL did not post a PB. Looks like KLM does take a death in that water stage. This is his last Lapras, so he needs to be pretty careful here. Oh, and he loses it almost immediately. So Biddy's catching up, because Biddy's on the level before KLM, I believe, right now. And he'll be able to grab a Lapras to start. So if he can keep his Lapras through this next stage, I think Biddy will have caught up. Biddy's looking really good on the blue dinos. He only has one red one, but I think, I don't know if that'll be a huge problem. And KLM gets to the very, very end of the level and runs out of energy. He's out of Laprases. He needs to grab another hammer, because that's essentially like the only like real good weapon. And so, I mean, I think you can keep getting a hammer every time here as long as you make it far enough, but yeah, I mean, Biddy stays on Lapras. Biddy takes the lead. That was really good work by Biddy. And this has definitely been, I think, probably KLM's most frustrating stage so far. I mean, he probably spent a couple more minutes here than he was hoping to. But it does look like he should have enough energy to get through this. Yeah, he's good. So we are through. Good. It is brutal, Vic. Like, I've talked about it a couple times. I don't know how else to really explain it other than to say that it is such a brutal game. Like, all of these games are really hard. And in this one, the stages are shorter than Adventure Island 1, which is good, but they also took out the checkpoints. So there are no checkpoints. So if you die on a level, you start over from the beginning no matter what. Biddy does take a death. And so that definitely, he jumped in a hole with the dinosaur, which is pretty much, you lose the dinosaur, you lose your hammer, you lose everything. Looks like BBL is still on World 4. It's going through the ice world. I do know in chat, BBL had said if he gets to World 6 before somebody finishes, he's going to call it a win. So I'm assuming sometimes if BBL will join the races, even if he hasn't prepared as much as he would like to, which I honestly admire the heck out of that. Because like I have a really tough time doing stuff like that, where if I know I'm not prepared, I'm potentially not going to put on a good showing. I don't want to do it personally. And I wish I would, because like I look at somebody like BBL, and there's a few other people that'll do that in RGR, regardless of like how they feel about it or how prepared they are. And like I love that they do it. It's great. The brochures look so good. Yeah, Vic. Obviously, this being the Cloud Island world, there's a lot of pits in this level, so you can see a lot of people dying to the dinosaurs. We do have BBL on the octopus boss. He does not have a dino though, and he does finally kind of get still on the ice. It's really hard to stand still, and so okay, it looks like he's okay here. We're gonna hope that he's gonna get through this. And there he is. BBL is on past the octopus onto World 5. We see KLM on this climbing stage right now. There's another thing that's different. I don't think the first Adventure Island had any like vertical scrollers. I almost called it a vertical side scroller. That's not really what it's called. And I think the next level that he's going to is also going to be one as well. Obviously, the vertical side scroller in the air, a little bit easier if you have the pterodactyl. Your energy level does go down though if you're on a dinosaur. It goes down faster than if you're not, and so that is something that you need to worry about in some of these levels. As you see, KLM only had 2 energy or 1 energy there at the end, that last tick, and he is now on to the bird boss. And you have the good old pterodactyl just dropping stones on him. So KLM is through. So he had a very, very strong showing for the second half of that world. And he will be moving on to World 7, which is Volcano Island. And Biddy's still got a couple more levels here to catch up to finish out the world. Ooh, and KLM does do a short hop and misses the top of that ledge. And I'm willing to bet he was not too thrilled about that one. I don't think that's a jump that KLM would usually miss. But, I mean, on race day, lots of stuff happens. He gets to that point, gets by it just fine the second time, it looks like. So he's on his way. Biddy Kong also takes a death on that, I believe, the same stage that KLM did before. It's tough. A lot of the sprites are reused across levels in the world, and so if you're not very intimate with the game, which I am not, it gets difficult to tell which level is exactly which level sometimes. They're very similar parts across the worlds. KLM does take a dip into the drink a little bit again. Biddy has decided he's going to take it slower, and you know what? I think if you speedrun, a lot of times you can actually agree with me here. If you're used to doing something fast and you try to do it slow, a lot of times that can mess you up. And we just saw that right there, that Biddy was just going nice and slow, killing everything along the way, and then was like, okay, I'll just jump onto this thing. But he didn't have the normal momentum that he normally would, and so he just didn't make it to the ledge. Yeah, Billy. I mean, it really is true. And now we are here to the Scorpion boss. Luckily, if you position the dinosaur just to the right of the middle of the Scorpion, you'll actually have him attack right, so it makes it a lot easier. And then gonna get back here, and the blue dino is gonna finish him off. Higgins wasn't even hitting him there. Yeah, I mean, Pitt's getting everyone. It could almost be like Adventure Island 2, the Pit's gonna get you. Like, that could have been the subtitle of the game. So we do now have KLM entering the last world of the game. So this is exciting. We're gonna see. I do want to see how his inventory is holding up. He's got 6 lives, so he's looking pretty good lives-wise. And Biddy's still got 7, so he's keeping up right with him there. And I want to say Biddy's like maybe 4 levels behind now. But okay, he's doing okay. He's still got 7 dinos. He doesn't have a Lapras, which does kind of stink for the underwater stages, but I've got good hopes for KLM making it through this. Just plodding along here. So this is one of the rare times you'll actually see KLM use the pterodactyl. There's a couple of these levels that are really hard in the last world. Like, usually you'll use the pterodactyl when you can just fly over everything. In this level, you kinda can fly over everything, but it's a really tight squeeze. But yeah, that's one of the few ones. And I love when the pterodactyl is standing on the ground and walks to the end of the level. It's like a little pterodactyl strut, and like somehow he's strong enough to be like holding Higgins, because Higgins is not the fittest fella, let's just say. And we did see Biddy take an unfortunate death there. Yep, KLM is definitely maintaining. He's actually extending his lead. When he went to World 8, I think he was 5 levels ahead of Biddy. And right now, I want to say he's completed 6 more levels than Biddy. So he's got a really strong lead of probably about 6 minutes right now. Yeah, you do wonder how much he eats. Vic makes a good point, because this dude is running all the time, chucking axes across the street, like tons of axes or hammers, whatever they are. And yet he's still that big. So I mean, I guess I don't know. Really bad genetics or something. And so I should probably not talk about that, as KLM is like getting to the last kind of stage and boss area. So you probably want to focus on his screen, because if everything goes well, he should be done in a couple minutes here. And what up, commentator Curtis? We've been waiting for you all race. So KLM does die. It wouldn't be an RGR race with me commentating if I didn't jinx somebody. Biddy's recovering now pretty well. There's a couple stages there in World 7 that he had a lot of trouble with. But the last couple now have been going a lot better. So he's at the end of World 7 coming up here. I can't even read what you wrote, Vic, so don't worry. We got the pterodactyl strut there for KLM as he finishes the 8-5 stage. And now we've got the boss, and he's got the pterodactyl just sitting above that does 2 different things, and that is a victorious curse. That is a victorious curse. KLM has slid off, hit a spike, which is not a good thing. And you kind of saw KLM kind of sat there for just a little bit and didn't select anything from the world map. So he's probably not too thrilled right now. But he's still in the lead by quite a ways. Biddy is just finishing up World 7 here, so he's a complete world ahead of Biddy. But yeah, those spikes are one-hit kills. Oh, Biddy with a really good jump between 2 of those. I don't know what he's spitting at him. Whatever those things were, he did a really good job of dodging in between them. Yeah, and you can just see just how much slower these boss fights are when you don't have a dinosaur. Because every single shot that the boss shoots, or every projectile, is coming right at you, instead of the first one always going to the dinosaur, which just means you can plug in so many more shots. And so, I mean, I at least remember when KLM fought that boss, it was much, much quicker because he had, I think, the blue dino for that boss. You know, we've been having a lot of deaths. KLM's down to 2 lives. He still has, I think, 4 dinos and a handful of hammers. I can't remember how many hammers he has. He's picking the red dino, so he's just blowing fire at everything now. Red dino not happy. Picked up some milk. I'm gonna think that's milk. It's a white jar with an M on it. What else is it gonna be? It's milk, Victress. What? Come on, Zell. We've already talked about the fact that, well, I mean, we did talk about how Higgins might have some digestive problems, so maybe he does need some probiotics. And KLM, get there. He got there. He finished with 1 little energy bar left. That was almost another death there by energy bar or energy meter. And I keep calling it an energy bar, and now I think that that's just food. But an energy meter, I'll try calling it. It's dinosaur milk, Vic. Sure, that makes sense somehow. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna be honest. I don't even know if KLM knows this level. This is not one of the normal levels in the route. And these volcanoes are mean. Okay, Vic, that's good to know at least. That he's at least played it once. He's just kind of sitting at the the level select screen. I think he's trying to hype himself up because he lost. He has no more red dinosaurs. So yep, you see there, he fell in the lava, which means blue dinosaur dies the moment you go in the lava. Only the red one can survive in there. This level is just so mean. I'm actually kind of moving sideways, hoping that he's gonna dodge everything. And he does take a hit. So I think this is KLM's last life, and he's using his last dino. He's gonna be using his last hammer. It's now or never, folks. Get some KLM luck emotes in chat, get some bless RNGs, whatever you got. And that was not enough. That was not enough. That was not enough. Oh no. I mean, he is starting over at World 8, but he got no dinos, no hammer. Oh man. Well, I mean, I guess this is Biddy's time to try to catch up. Well, not even catch up. Biddy's in the lead by default now. And looks like, if I remember right, this is the third to last stage. So he's got this stage, 2 more, and then after that second one is immediately the boss. So Biddy, it's now looking like it's Biddy's race to lose, as BBL I think is on Volcano Island. So he's still chugging along, but both KLM and Biddy will have to continue to make a few more mistakes, and probably both game over at least once more for BBL to have a chance to win. But for somebody who's put in a lot less practice, BBL is doing really good today, I think. It's one of those things you do want to be careful and go slowly if you're KLM right now, just to make sure that you're not dying. But you also got to make sure that you're picking up a bunch of health that way, because you're just going to be kind of bleeding meter here. And we've got Biddy, who is dodging frogs, trying to get through a non-water level with Lapras. I'm not sure if that was a misclick or why he chose to do that. Yeah, Chinese Hulk. This like, I mean, the RGR members vote on what game they want to play. And so this was choice. And this is exactly why I was saying that when they picked this, yes, it sounded good over Ninja Gaiden 2 and Double Dragon 2, which, I mean, Kalen picked 3 really, really hard games, which I actually like that. I like seeing what people can do in a short amount of time with a tough game. I think all these picks were good. But I think people picked this thinking that it would be easier than the other two, and I think they were not necessarily correct. But no, well, he at least, okay, so he may not have voted for it, but he did nominate it as one of the 3 possible games. So really, we're gonna blame Kalen. Oh, that's awesome, Hulk! You're actually thinking about joining the next one? That'd be great. Yeah, that's what we usually say, that if you vote, you should you shouldn't vote if you know you're going to be unavailable. And so you should vote if you're going to try to make the race and learn the game. And stuff always comes up. And so, like with Vic, yeah, like he said, he voted for this, but then he was not able to make the race commitment. And I know it's just his eyeballs, but I like to think that Lapras actually has sunglasses on. Okay, this is it. We've got. Oh, that might be why Biddy was using Lapras. It seems like he's out of both the blue and red dinos. So while I'm not necessarily certain that it gave him much of an advantage, like, that was his only option. He has picked up the microorganisms to help with your digestion. Thank you, Zelrig. But very, very shortly after that, slips on a grub and falls in the lava. I'm just nervous watching this now. Like, I want KLM to continue, and in case something bad happens elsewhere on the screen, but at the same time, I want Biddy to be succeeding. Neither of those things seem to be happening, as both of them take deaths. How many more lives does Biddy have? He's got to be getting down there. I wonder. So KLM flew through this level. Biddy can't. Ooh, this is last level for Biddy. Or last life for Biddy. So I don't remember what the longest winning time for an RGR race. I can guarantee you Metroid was not it. I want to say I probably beat Metroid in the low to mid 20-minute time because I think I was still learning Metroid at the time and it was pretty new. But I think I might have been the only one. No, I wasn't even the only one who finished. Metroid was I think one of the toughest ones. We didn't have many finishers, and we had some rage quitters. And we had some people that lasted this long. But I don't think it was our longest winning time. Okay, yeah, so I had an 18 something, but second place is 30 and third place is 39. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, it was really tough for a lot of people, that's for sure. Okay, so we definitely, it looks like, as I was trying to think of the longest RGR race, unfortunately, Biddy Kong did take a death. He did have that Hudson B though, so he still has 6, whatchamacallit, hammers and 4 dinos left. We got this though, I feel it. I feel it. Oh, it looks like I think KLM has thrown in the towel and he may want to go to the World 4 backup winners race. Yeah, I mean, I would say that, like, Bucky is a hard game, but Bucky is very forgiving in the fact that you die, big deal. You just start again. You game over, big deal. You just continue and start again. It's obviously not easy, but it's not the most unforgiving game. Exactly, Billy. You're gonna die a lot, but the deaths themselves don't really matter. It does look like both KLM and Biddy have continued on in World 8, so hopefully we're still going here. It was at least, it was very beneficial for Biddy to have all of the hammers still from his continue with that Hudson B. Oh, yo, Whitman, what's up, man? Yeah, it is a very, very hard game to race for sure. I mean, even when you had like TMR at AGDQ, like he was worried about game over, and he's the best player in the world at this game. So it was very ambitious, and man, KLM got so close, so close. This has been incredibly entertaining to watch. I will absolutely agree with that. And that kind of goes back to just like I like the games that are tougher, because like something like Little Mermaid that we did for our first race, that's on the one hand it's nice because it's very like accessible and anyone who plays it can beat it if they just put in a little practice time. Whereas like something like this, you actually do need to put in a lot of time to even have a chance to do it. So it kind of goes against some of our tenets at RGR of being really accessible and trying to get newer runners to be running stuff, etc. But I do think it has been very entertaining for sure. That's true, Hulk. Yeah, having a mix is nice. We are coming up on that 1 hour mark. Looks like KLM is one level ahead of Biddy right now. And BBL is slogging through Cloud Island, it looks like, right now. You can start up whenever you want, Vic. Hopefully it's too late, but you never know. You never know, man. I mean, this was definitely the case. I mean, it's not even really, you can call it savage, but like KLM even said, he's like, you know what, if I have to continue more than once, I don't think I'm beating it. Or I don't know if he said I don't think I will, but it'll be really hard to beat it if you have to continue more than once. KLM's about a level ahead because you see Biddy is now going to that cave right there in the bottom middle, and KLM is going to be walking from that cave to, I believe, the island, or not the island, kind of the whatever that boss is. But yeah, so he is one level ahead of Biddy still. Hopefully this time, these last levels will be a little easier on these guys. I'm hoping. They've had some practice now. They feel good. I don't know, they might not feel good. They might just be really frustrated. But either way, we're going to say they feel good. I'm gonna let you in on a secret here, Hulk. Commentators don't curse. They just read the scenes, figure out what the probabilities are, the likelihoods are, and then they just make statements that play against those probabilities so that when it does happen, it's like, oh my gosh, you jinxed it. It's like, no, we just knew it was going to happen in advance. Yeah, I think I was a little confused. I thought that BBL got the Volcano Island before, but he's on Cloud Island now. Which Cloud I think is World 6. Yeah, Cloud is World 6, so he did get to his goal. But I want to say he'd gotten to World 7. Maybe he didn't. Okay, I'm not gonna say anything then, but go ahead and watch KLM's screen for a bit. These patterns for the boss are known, so you can see like as soon as he goes away, like KLM's moving to a different area. And looky here. As we get a slam of the table. A huzzah! Tina has been saved from the monsters. With a time of 1:03.15 on his splits. I'm not sure what the actual SRL time was, but man, over an hour. That is definitely our longest winning time, for sure. GG, KLM. You were so close that first time, but you did make it back. It looked like you kind of needed a little break there for a bit, but then you got composed again, and you just went back and did really well that last time through World 8. So now we can go back to Biddy's screen. Biddy is on that same last level. So hopefully he can make it through here. I'm not sure. It looks like he doesn't even have a hammer. Oh my gosh. He does take a death. If he's out of hammers, this is going to be really tough. Oh no, he has 6 hammers. What? Why is he playing it without a hammer? So Biddy did put out a video. It may have been this level of making it through without a hammer. So he may just be trying to show off now that KLM has won. It does look like that was his last life. Biddy has decided to drop out. Oh gosh, KLM had to pull up the map after he died in World 2. Oh man. If you wanna jump into comms, KLM, and chat about it a bit, go ahead.
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
I can. What's up, man?
Yeah.
You were so close the first time.
I actually, yeah, when I got through, I was like, I think this is actually, like, I'm actually going to be able to finish this thing, like, in a, like, respectable amount of time. And then
You should never think that.
like I would have felt better if I died like taking like a shot from the boss or something, but I literally just ran off the edge into the spikes. I was just like, I couldn't believe that just happened.
Yeah. I was watching the multi-twitch, and so I actually had like I could see your facial expression. You just like go back and like, no.
Yeah, that was
like I obviously couldn't hear you, but I can imagine.
Yeah, it was probably pretty entertaining to watch the last like, I don't know, 40 minutes of that on my webcam. But yeah, I died in the. I remember I was saying this before we started that hopefully if we die at the boss, like it goes to a different level and we have to figure out which one to go to. So I was hoping it wouldn't happen, but it happened to me on the first boss at the front. So.
Yeah, when that happened, I was like, man, he cannot be too happy right now.
So that's why I like hesitated, because I had to go scroll through Discord, find that link to the SDA page, pull up the map for World 2, and figure it out. And also, it didn't say which one to go to, so I didn't know what to do. So I just grabbed the first one, hoping that it worked, and it did. And that was a new level too, so I didn't even know what was going to happen.
Oh gosh, no.
Also,
go ahead.
I was gonna say after that first death to the last boss, if I would have just went to the right level, I think I would have been okay too. But then I went completely the wrong way, and I was in some volcano level that I only played that one time, and that level's impossible.
Okay, yeah, because like I was talking about that, and I was like, you know what? It looks like you've never played that level before. And Vic was like, I know he's played it at least once.
Yeah, that was it, just the one time.
Okay, yeah, because like it looked like you were definitely not comfortable on it, and the volcanoes seem impossible.
Yeah, it's not so bad if you know what you're doing and you can just go fast through them because you can avoid it. But if you're not really sure what's happening next, yeah, it's pretty hard.
So how do you feel now that it's over? Now that you've won, is there any joy, or is there just exhaustion and maybe a little relief?
I don't even know. I'm glad that honestly, like I'm glad that it actually went a lot better than I thought it was. Honestly, like I thought we were all just gonna game over like in World 6 or 7, and we just have to restart from there. But I had the restream up, and I saw Biddy was pretty much like right with me the whole time, and then he had the same issues that I had. And even BBL at one point was ahead in World 4, so that was awesome.
Yeah, no, I didn't even like BBL seemed like he was behind a little bit at the very beginning, and so I concentrated a little more on you when you were ahead, and then Biddy when he took the lead from you after you got your death. But then all of a sudden I was like, wait, BBL's starting the Ice World, and so I was like, so he's ahead actually. He's on World 4. And I didn't even see it happen.
I don't know if that was awesome though. That was great.
Yeah, no, it was really good. And I mean, BBL made it. I think to World 7 before the end, and so he had his goal of getting to 6 before you guys beat it.
Yeah, which is great. Yeah. So So I honestly like it went a lot better than I thought. I did not think that, and like none of us were going to finish a run here. We'd have to just reset and do like the World 4 thing. So I know Biddy was right at the end there too.
Biddy was really close twice.
Yeah,
you were really close that first time, and then luckily you were able to pull it off at the end. I was nervous. It would have been kind of cool to do the World 4 race, but I really like that we still haven't had a game that there have been 0 finishers.
Yeah. I was when I was just standing there, like at the title screen, like I was pretty much done. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna wait and see what happens. And then I sat there for like 5 minutes or so, and I was just like, well, I guess I'll just keep playing until somebody finishes, or we restart. And once I made it past the cave level, like fine, I was like, oh, okay, maybe I'll just try to like see if I can finish. And luckily, it worked.
Yeah, well, GG. Maybe we've learned something in maybe our game nominations for the near future.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick all easy games next month.
It's like next one is like we have Mickey's Adventures in Numberland.
Yeah, so
we have Number Munchers, and we have, no, I don't know, just
like Donkey Kong one loop.
No, I mean, obviously, this was a very enjoyable race.
Yeah,
I know it sucked for you
and
guys.
honestly, yeah, like,
but
yeah,
chat loved
yeah,
it,
and even like as I've been playing the last couple of weeks, like there's been numerous people in my like chat. It was just like, this is just like the most fun thing to watch, and because I'm just like, the deaths happen so fast and they're so quick, and you just like the reactions are just so genuine. You're just like, I know like during like the race here you can't see them unless like you had our streams open, but it's very fun, and honestly it's a really fun run. It's just like all the levels themselves, I've said this over and over again, but the levels themselves aren't that difficult to learn, and it's a lot of fun, but it's just like stringing them all together in a row and completing it in one go is just impossible. So shout outs to all those guys who just kill this game. I saw Whitman Price in chat earlier. He's got a sick time in this game too. And then thanks again to TMR who joined us in Discord to kind of help us out through the last couple of weeks. So that was really awesome too. And then just thanks to you guys, Cove for doing commentary, Strizer and Restream, and then Biddy and BBL for joining me for this one. This was brutal.
No, it was definitely a pleasure to cast. Like I had a lot of fun. I like Chad. I thought it was fantastic, and I had the added benefit of being able to see your physical reactions as well because I was watching on multi Twitch, and so it was extra special for me. But no, it was fun, and I mean, I was even joking about like the difficulty of your nominations. I think we get a good mix. Like sometimes we just have a hard game, sometimes we get a not as hard game, and I mean, even though this one was really tough, doesn't mean the next tough one won't go great.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Like we've done some really hard ones. Like I know like Crying Conquest comes to mind right away. I didn't even participate in that race, but I learned the run, and I think the commentary for that one. Yeah, and that was a really tough one. Metroid, I heard you guys talking about earlier. That was a rough one in the beginning for us too. So we've done some pretty hard games for sure. For the most part, though, like so they're like most of the games have safeties that you can do to like you can finish the game. Like you can finish the game. It's just going to take a lot longer than maybe everybody else, but at least you can finish. Whereas this one, there's no guarantee that you're even going to finish the game. So. Yeah, and there's no safety strats. If you go slower, it gets harder. Like the faster you go, the easier it is. But then if you lose all your stuff, like you're screwed. It's just
yeah, we talked about that a lot, but. Okay, well, I think anything else you want to say before we kind of...
No, I'm good. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in for this one. I knew this was going to be a rough one for us, and thank you again to Biddy. I know he had some things come up over the past week that kind of prevented him from practicing as much as he'd like to. So thanks again, Biddy, for joining in, and BBL for joining in last second and killing it for, that was awesome too. So, and then thank you, everybody.
Okay, well, congrats again, KLM. Great job, Biddy and BBL as well. Once again, thank you, Strizer, for restreaming all of this stuff. And we will be back probably the first Thursday of the month for the next game reveal. So keep that in mind. Join our Discord so you'll know when that's going to be. If you are interested in joining, talk to KLM, talk to me, talk to Victress or Strizer, any of the mods here. Join the Discord. We'd be happy to give you some more details. Otherwise, have a wonderful rest of your Sunday, and we will see you next time, guys.